Good evening, everyone. I'm Jay Williams, President of the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving. Welcome to Greater Together 2020. This has been a year like no other. We find ourselves at a seminal moment, on the precipice of an opportunity to effect meaningful change in our community and to set our region and our country on a new course. By choosing to be with us tonight, you've already taken a step to join our journey, or at least you're curious. But it's important to recognize how we arrived here this evening. In 1925, the Hartford Foundation chartered a course to make our region a better place to live and to work. And during the 95 years since, that direction has not changed. How we go about our work has gradually matured over the years. But what has transpired since mid-March has redefined our journey in ways we could have never imagined. We began 2020 steadfast in our commitment to addressing the inequalities and disparities rooted in race, place, and income that are prevalent here in the Hartford region and across America. We dedicated significant time and research in developing a group of well-defined priorities, and we had plans to collaborate with our nonprofit partners to create inclusive opportunities in 2020 and beyond. But when COVID-19 arrived at our doorstep, our best-laid plans converged into a singular focus: the rapid response to a once-in-a-century pandemic. The acute needs across our community emerged in just a matter of days, and we knew we had to react quickly. Like most organizations, we closed our offices and started working remotely, while simultaneously altering our protocol for our new remote posture. We streamlined our grant application process. We shortened the time between when a grant is awarded and when funds are transferred to our nonprofit partners. We redeployed our precious human resources, reassigning foundation staff to maximize our ability to respond to the public health and economic crisis. And we quickly launched a COVID-19 response fund. And you, our loyal donors and stakeholders, responded with unprecedented generosity. The corporate community itself, reeling from the economic fallout of coronavirus, stepped up with significant financial commitments that provided a lifeline for people in our community who had suffered most acutely. The Lego Corporation and Stanley Black & Decker, along with the Hartford, Travelers Foundation, and Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare, led a group of businesses that answered the call for residents of the Hartford region. In addition, 250 individuals and private foundations made gifts in the first 100 days of the pandemic. This reinforced the remarkable concern for your neighbors that you have shown over the decades. I want to pause for a moment to acknowledge the long list of donors who responded when the needs were most acute throughout our community. These individuals are a prime example of what it means to be greater together. Among these donations was a major anonymous gift, and tonight it is my honor to publicly express our sincere gratitude for this lead donation. Dorothy and Bernard Shiro contributed generously to Hartford throughout their lifetimes and provided for a future through a donor-advised fund at the Hartford Foundation. They had a lifelong love for the people and the institution of Hartford and the greater Hartford community. During these times of unprecedented health and economic challenges, we are especially grateful for their spirit of generosity. It would be the hope of Dorothy and Bernard that this gift would inspire others to give. By midsummer of this year, we had raised more than $4 million, and combined with the $8 million that the foundation infused into our COVID fund, we have made grants to more than 200 nonprofit organizations throughout the entire Hartford region. These partners provide a wide range of services, including food, housing, immigration support, education and youth development, social services, community development, reentry support, arts and culture, and physical and mental health services. More recently, our COVID fund transitioned from emergency response to keeping nonprofit staff and clients well prepared and safe during the reopening phases of this pandemic. Also during this time, we are proud to have partnered with 4CT, an organization of civically minded individuals from across the state of Connecticut focused on statewide needs. Hartford Foundation staff contributed fiscal stewardship, communication support, and our knowledge of the nonprofit landscape to provide additional relief to our residents across our region and across our state. In an effort to strengthen the nonprofit sector right here in our region, we launched a skills-based volunteer matching project connecting professionals who want to donate their time with organizations that needed those skills. This multifaceted response to the COVID crisis would not have been possible without a group of 11 volunteers, men and women who govern the policies and grant decisions of the Hartford Foundation. Our board of directors, our community, business, and education leaders, whose guidance, thoughtfulness, and commitment has enabled and empowered our staff to respond to the pandemic in such an impactful way. But quickly it became clear that the COVID pandemic was more than a public health crisis and economic crisis. The data confirmed that the existing racial disparities were being exacerbated and laid bare by this pandemic. Our Black and Latinx neighbors are disproportionately impacted by both the public health and economic crises arising from this pandemic. A few of the examples of the way we responded. The Hartford Foundation partnered with the City of Hartford, Headco Incorporated and Capital for Change, with support from Bank of America and Travelers, to launch a $1.4 million Small Business Emergency Assistance Grant Program. More than 100 small Hartford businesses that lacked access to PPP loans received grants of up to $10,000 to help pay critical business expenses necessary to survive this crisis. With schools and businesses closed, and people looking to obtain vital services and educate their children remotely, the foundation partnered with the City of Hartford and Dalio Philanthropies to fund a free high-speed Wi-Fi network. This high-speed broadband network will be free and accessible to all Hartford residents and businesses. Hartford is one of the first and few cities in the country to achieve this feat. Work has already begun, and service is expected to be online in 2 neighborhoods by this January. And by May of this year, we began to recognize the presence of dual pandemics, as our country turned its attention even more sharply toward the issue of race and racial justice, with the horrifying murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis. Following the deaths of Mr. Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor, thousands of people took to the streets to demand racial justice and police reform. Our nation began to experience a reckoning on race, and the foundation responded. This summer, the foundation and the Travelers Championship announced a 3-year police training initiative led by the University of New Haven's Center for Advanced Policing and the Tau Youth Justice Institute. The program will enhance the training of officers in Greater Hartford to help them balance the demands of public safety and the interest of Black and Latinx and other diverse teens and young adults. The initiative will work to build bridges between police and fragile communities through empathy and lived experiences. Our work over the past 8 months, while vital and emergent, is just the beginning.